Oi, 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 oi! Coming off a dub, a Joe Flacco ball game. 4 turnovers for the Cleveland Browns defense. But that game has already been forgotten because it is Thursday and there were 6 Browns claimed by the injury reserve, ending their season. The Browns now have 14 players done for the rest of the year. Sheesh.
Dude, it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad, and the crazy thing is that we're sitting at 8-5. That just a That's a testament to coaching. I mean, I've been critical, but I've been also, you know, be like, well, I'd rather have no other coach at this point. And to be 8-5 is incredible with all these injuries. This week alone, the day after Grant Delpit signed a 3-year extension, which I am so happy about. Um, he is now out for the season. Obo Okoronkwo is out for the season with a torn pec. DeJuan Jones is out for the season, which is our backup tackle. So now we're on our third string tackle. Um, James Hudson will get the start for the rest of the year, most likely, which has, I believe, a current rating on PFF at 38.5. Yeah, Jedrick Wills is out for the season. After we were being told that he will be back, he is not, and he is done and has gone under surgery. Man, it never ends.
Oh, man, you're going to forget my boy. Maurice Hurst, also out
Maurice Hurst,
with
big
a torn
number.
pec as well.
Well, insane, dude. That's another one that honestly came out of nowhere for me, right? Like I was really not expecting that as well. I feel like no one else was expecting that, but he's having a great season. That was one of those guys that we took a flyer on that really showed up this season and could have had a big payday, right? And might still have a big payday elsewhere. I could see him coming back to the Browns next year, on a 1 or 2 year contract. So I hope that happens because I really enjoyed him this season. I think he brought a very good vibe to this defensive line. Now, saying that, I think even though with all those injuries, we had a very good game this past week. We had to roll us back into one video this week. Is crazy, crazy week. But Joe Flacco looked great, man. They offered a lot of layups to him, and he took advantage of it, especially with Njoku. Uh, Obviously, 2 touchdowns. It was a great performance, and man, we got another dub. I said the run game wasn't incredible. Um, but Flacco took over the game, and that is such an awesome statement to have on our fourth quarterback, right? Like Joe Flacco, a 38-year-old quarterback, and really diving deep into Joe Flacco real quick because we always see these quarterbacks, right, that leave their first team, and then get like a pretty nice contract and do pretty well for a few years, right? These guys, I mean, he's a Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winner. Um, went to Denver, didn't even last a full season, and and then kind of bounces, and it's kind of like I don't know. I feel like there was always something there. Even last year, I saw like he still had it in him, and I think giving this time off for rest, uh, sometimes you need rest sometimes, and he got that rest, and his arm looks better than ever, man. And I feel confident with that. If we get the run game going, man, it's gonna be weirdly to say dynamic on the offensive side of the ball. We haven't had a quarterback throw for over 300 yards this year, except Joe Flacco. So, um, I don't know where else to go, but brother, with this
Well,
team, the
I
question marks
think
keep piling up, but I'm still here. I'm still ready. And I'm still excited every week.
Yeah, it's just like some question marks get put to bed and we get some new ones the next week.
Yeah.
Um, well, the fortunate thing is, I mean, you can disagree with me if you want. I thought James Hudson played a pretty good game this past week.
Outside of
And
penalties, he's tied for the seventh most penalties in the NFL. That is a rough stat to argue about, but I agree. He didn't play terrible. You know, he definitely held against the pass rush, but man,
um, well, still, I thought he played a pretty solid game against two bookend tackles and Josh Allen and Travion Walker.
sure,
Um, you know, I think realistically we already got to put this Jacksonville game behind us. Even though we wanted to celebrate it, it's time to focus on Chicago.
agreed.
Chicago coming off a 2 game win streak. They
Hmm.
knocked off the Detroit Lions, who really just couldn't get it going against the Bears. Justin Fields put on a highlight reel um, of plays with his new receiving partner and DJ Moore. DJ Moore's taking a lot of plays out of the backfield in a wildcat in the backfield with Justin Fields. So they're getting very dynamic with their offense. They're still in the bottom of the league in passing offense, but they're number 2 now in rushing offense. Within the last couple of weeks, their defense now has the second most turnovers in the league.
Hmm.
Um, they're really starting to heat up, which this is a team that I thought in the beginning of the season that their defense was going to take that step forward. And you're starting to see it catch on here later on in the season. The Bears they're 5-8 at the moment, but unlike the AFC, the NFC's wild card spots are kind of up in the air.
Mm.
Um, I think you can say the fifth seed is either going to be the Cowboys or the Eagles, but um, as far as 6 and 7 go, you got the Packers who just dropped one to the Giants. Um, you also have the Vikings who they're hanging on by a thread.
Yeah,
Um,
and I believe they're starting Nick Mullins this week, so
yeah, they've benched Josh Dobbs for the rest of the season
he's not
and played
only he's not only benched, but he's actually resorted back to the emergency backup, so he's the third string guy.
how to
Um,
how that's
so
happened.
yeah, so everybody that hated on the Browns for those couple weeks that he played very well about us getting rid of him, I felt really crappy for those couple weeks, dude. But at the end of the day, it is Josh Dobbs, and great story. I feel like he's a great guy, but at the end of the day, like the distinction between DTR and him at the time of that trade wasn't really a thing. So
Yeah, but the Bears are only a game or so out of the hunt. I feel like they can find a way in. They've been hot ever since Fields has came back from injury. Um, I think Fields has a little chip on his shoulder with all the rumors of the Bears going quarterback with their one of their first round picks.
sure,
Um, and I think he says, I beg to differ. He's played very well in this offense, and they're starting to find a little magic here in December. Um, I think the Browns, as far as where they're at right now, they come off a good win. They're feeling pretty good about Joe Flacco, but how much longer can they keep on going with these injuries? Where's their
hmm,
breaking point? It could
yeah,
be it could be this week. We don't know. We're gonna have to come out and try to overcome it but they're really starting to pile up, and it's a problem. Ideally, they only need to put together two more wins, I think, to stay in this race. Um, but I think the one that you need is this week, just to kind of put it away, because you have other games this week with major playoff implications that
Yeah.
could help.
Yeah, you got to solidify yourself. And speaking of injuries, I mean, the Bears had suffered a pretty big injury on that defensive line the past day or two that it came out. Um, it was Yannick Ngakoue is out for the season now, so that makes it a little easier going into this week, and especially on that makes it a lot easier on that. I said that pretty beat up offensive line that we have. But like I did say, they are holding up actually decently well, and and I do think they're really game planning around it, which you need. Um, but this game does it's a weird matchup, but I do look at the Bears and Justin Fields in general as a guy that is a very good scrambling quarterback and has crazy talent on his feet, but that his deep ball or anything that needs to be an accurate pass is just not there. And I think this past week with Trevor Lawrence, with a lot of those balls that he needed to be accurate, but I don't think he had that planting foot. I don't think Justin Fields has that foot in general to really plant or even to get the ball downfield or even to make a accurate pass that, kind of like we saw with Flacco that hits you right in the numbers. And he just he just doesn't have it. And I like Justin Fields, but this when we look at a guy like Emerson, Newsome, I mean they had three picks between them because of these balls that were inaccurate. That's going to be massive. And I know we said it last week, but Denzel Ward should be back this week. He should be back this week. So that bolsters it as well. And I really think if we can eliminate this run game and really just focus on, um, him making these precision throws is going to go such a massive way. And I think about what the 2021 when we played them. We did this. We did the exact same thing, and Miles had a freaking field day, and we blew them out pretty much. I mean, I think they scored 6 points on that entire game. So I really think it's that classic game plan of like stop the run, which obviously is a very tough thing to do, especially losing a guy like Grant Delpit. But we still have guys like Taki Taki and JOK that are, I think, said we have these guys for this type of player, and that's going to be it. Where if we can stop those runs and those designed runs, and even if he's like out of the pocket looking for a pass and just rolls out and there's open space, like if we eliminate at least a portion of that and really have him throw the ball a lot, that is going to be the distinction of a winning game and a losing game is how many yards we can give up on the ground.
Exactly. I think we're gonna have to start this segment and our keys to the game, and I think definitely one of them is going to be stopping the run, whether it be Fields or the duo out of the backfield, and their running backs and Deontay Foreman, Khalil Herbert, who just came back, and they also have a young guy in Roshan Johnson that um, they've kind of been feeding off each other's energy. So the Browns have to tighten up once again. They did a very good job of shutting down Trevor Etienne. Um, it just let's make it back to back weeks. This is a very effective running offense. Um, you just got to make them one dimensional, and you have to force Fields to throw the ball. Um, he is he is prone to throwing interceptions. He wants to make the big play. He's a young quarterback. That's what they're going to be looking for. So you got to be able to take the run game away from him. Don't let him extend plays on his legs. Uh, it just plug up the middle, contain the outside, and pretty much I think that that could really get this defense going. Just starting there on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. Another key to this game is just be consistent on offense. Have that balance of the run and pass. And really have this defense that is starting to get going on the Bears side, kind of guessing and second guessing, especially with this loss of Yannick Ngakoue. They're gonna have this one of these pieces that are gone and really start thinking about like, oh, it's Joe Flacco, but continue making these passes. I mean, he was so good in these play action passes. The percentages are crazy, like 8 for 11. And I mean, keep doing those, keep having these layup throws. And I know that's hard to say, but if you scheme around and open David Njoku that has no one near him by 20 yards, that's hard to do. But if it works, it freaking works, man. So continue doing these kind of shifty routes that you give to different players on different hot routes. And I said, just keep doing that. But the big thing is we got to get this run game going, man. We got to get it going. These last 2 weeks have been kind of tough. We haven't seen a ton of carries by Jerome Ford, and I haven't really seen any injury update on him if he even has an injury. Uh, but we need to get him going. He's been very. I feel like he's been like the number two the last 2 weeks. So I'd like definitely like to see that change because you see flashes like he had like a 15, 20 yard run last week, and then you didn't see much of him for the rest of the game. So let's get our running back by committee going again and really start to make these play action passes work and really get this defense guessing.
All right, so this brings us to the next segment in our cowtails players to watch. I think once again it's going to be big, mighty Joe Flacco again. Um, just keep keep the trains on the tracks. Um, this play action offense. Um, kind of ideally what Stefanski wants to run. This is his bread and butter.
This
Um,
is the Baker Mayfield office we saw for a handful
yeah,
of years. It really
like
is.
it's like this is what he wants to run.
Yeah.
Um, this time of year. This is an offense that is good against zone coverage. It's good against blitz heavy teams because you're going to catch them off balance. You're moving a lot of things in the backfield. You're moving the line of scrimmage. Um, but at the same time, you got to be able to run the ball. But Joe Flacco has to be the one that has to guide this team down the stretch. Um, not forcing any throws, making the right throws, um, being able to pick up protections off at the line of scrimmage, being able to make an audible, living to play another down. It's a very huge thing that you see in a veteran quarterback like Joe Flacco. Um, I feel like there's been perfect examples of it um, that we've seen in the last 3 weeks. Um, you can sit here and compare talent all you want, but veteran quarterbacks and the knowledge that they have go a long way. Um, we can say that Russell Wilson and Matthew Stafford are way past their prime, and Trevor Lawrence is a much more talented quarterback than both of them at the moment, at least. But these both those quarterbacks have been in the league for years and years, and they've seen a lot of things. They're able to see the coverages before the snap, um, being able to make the audibles that our young quarterback really can't. Um, so I think Joe Flacco is someone that has like the keys to the Cadillac here. Um, Stefanski trusts him enough, only being in this offense for 3 weeks, to let him do what he wants because he's done it all. He's done it all. I
Yeah.
mean, there's one thing that Flacco has. and Stefanski doesn't, and that's a Super Bowl ring. And it wasn't like Joe Flacco was just on a good team. Like he was. I mean, the argument for years was he elite, and I've always said he was an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
Always.
Being in the AFC North, we saw it, twice a year for a decade plus, 15 years or whatever. It's like, yes, like, everybody that doesn't watch him consistently, I get that argument. But if you actually watch him, man, he made the huge big time throws, stuff that you don't see everyone else make. And the biggest thing with Flacco is also how much he spreads the ball. We see some quarterbacks around the league that has their guy, right? And no matter what, if it's that guy or even if he's double covered, they'll throw it up to him just because it's like, I know I have trust in that guy. Joe Flacco's been here for a month. Whatever he sees, he's going to throw it to. Like that, if someone's open and open enough, he has confidence in his arm to get the ball there. And if you look at that spread of like how many people he threw it to, this past week, it was insane, man. Like I said, like we had that massive throw with David Bell, and Joku had almost 100 yards. Mari Cooper had 77 yards. You know, Mari Cooper, or not Mari Cooper, I'm sorry, Elijah Moore had over 50 yards, and he even on top of that having David Bell, but he also had Cedric Tillman that had a pretty nice game. So even go back, 5, 6 weeks. We didn't have that. We it was Amari Cooper and sometimes Elijah Moore. We talked about it a few weeks ago where none of outside of those two players, no one has over 100 yards. And I don't think we can say that again. I give it a couple more weeks and these guys are going to be really start to build their stats up. And it's not really an excuse, and stats aren't everything, but spreading the ball around does wonders, man. It's not like always, ooh, this ball's definitely going to go to Amari Cooper. You got teams got a game plan about everyone now, so that goes a long way. And having a quarterback like that can then make those throws and trust those guys goes a long way as well. So I'm gonna throw these last two cowtails. Um, one's going to Kevin Stefanski, the other one is going to Jim Schwartz. Both those guys need it because both these guys need to make this game happen. It's going against a team that is, kind of has momentum on their side going into this week. And if we can just kind of, punch them in the throat and really stop them from going, like Jim Schwartz stops that run, stops Justin Fields, and Kevin just calls a really good game that makes sense, doesn't get too cute, but really just believes in his quarterback and believes in his team, which you've weirdly have only seen these last 2 weeks of this year with Flacco. Like, continue doing that. And I think that's going to go a long way for both those guys. Get a cowtail.
The throat
I
punch.
I knew you were gonna love that. That's why I said
Throat
it.
punch that bitch. Oh
uh,
man. Yeah,
so
just Jim Schwartz is just gonna have all the Browns defensive players just out there like Captain Insano. Just the I hope the Justin Field.
nice reference, dude. I love that. Uh,
Nope. Um,
so rolling into this next part, uh, Michael Lewis, real estate games to watch. How you feeling? What's a game that you're seeing that you're like, this is big?
here's my hint. Oh, boom. Good
Oh,
old Detroit Lions um, hosting the Denver Broncos on Saturday night. Um,
spicy.
yes, Detroit coming off uh, a big loss to Chicago, trying to regain their focus. On the other side, you have the Denver Broncos, who just came off a big win against the Los Angeles Chargers, who are currently just getting blown away by the Raiders.
Yeah, last time, which the Raiders didn't score a single point last week.
No, the total's up to 49 at the
40
moment.
last when I walked away from the thing to do this, it was 49-7.
We'll check it for kicks and giggles.
Oh man, I
Oh my God.
what
Oh
is
my
it?
God. It's 63-7.
Are you serious?
Oh my God.
63-7? Dude,
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers has a throwing touchdown on this game.
Look, I bet the under on this game. It was
Oh, what
30,
was the under?
it was 34 and a half.
Dude.
They broke it in the fucking first quarter.
Oh, Jesus.
I
So
was like,
we originally thought that that game with Miami and the Broncos was terrible. Oh boy. Get ready. How much left in this game?
oh man. I can't believe I'm seeing this. There's 10 minutes left still.
Jesus. That's absurd.
Um,
So
O'Connell has 19 of 32, 241 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Um, Jacoby Myers threw one, 2 for 2, 12 yards and a touchdown. Oh man.
and that's without Jacobs. So they're on their backup running back. Um so for me, this is a big playoff implication game that we're going to be seeing, and it's with the Colts and the Steelers. And both these teams that are fighting for a wild card spot, and it doesn't get any easier for either team down the stretch. So this game is massive for both teams. They're both, I believe, sitting at 7-6, and especially the Steelers, man. Their rest of the season looks pretty rough. Their schedule looks pretty brutal. So this would be massive on their end, and the Colts need to continue rolling. So this can be a big game, and it also shifts around. We've been on the opposite side of this where we need this team to lose, this team to win. Like I feel like this is how, if whoever loses this game is going to help out the Texans, it's going to help out. It really starts the snowball. So this is a big game, and obviously, we don't want either of these teams to win if it was possible, but having the Steelers, in the division, dropping another one, and us possibly winning. If we win, they lose. We're up by like 2 games. So that's going to be big, and I'm excited to see that game. And
Yeah.
I guess just going into the last little bit of it, man. Predictions for this game. At home, the Browns are 6-1 on the season, and I think the energy in Cleveland. We've been to a few games this year, obviously downtown. It's been awesome. It's been so awesome, and I think it affects everything down there. Um, I think you really feel it in the air, and I don't know. I think if Miles feels healthy, I could see it a repeat of what happened 2 years ago when we played them. Miles just took this game over, and it doesn't matter how good we are on offense at the time, because we weren't good. uh, but I think having this defense really shut down Justin Fields is gonna be massive, and I think the Browns are gonna pull this one off. I'm gonna go 21-7. Yes, 21-7. Browns with a win. Um, Unorthodox, but you know what I mean. I think we're gonna be this defense is gonna hold this team to pretty limited points.
Well, I think the Bears are a little better than 7 points. Um, but
We'll see.
I will go 23-17 and a very big nail biter and a Browns win. Um, I just I know the Bears are for real, at least for now, and we should not be taking them this lightly, um, like many fans in Cleveland are. Um, I'm just I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's
Yeah.
where I'm at. It seems like it's been nothing but bad news for the Browns, but it's like you know where does this break off? Like the magic, when does it run off? We saw it for back to back weeks on the West Coast trip, uh, from Denver to LA. Those were some rough outings, but did we keep it going at home? Just keeping that home record pretty strong. Currently at 6-1. Um, the Bears are 2-5 on the road. Um, so this is a big game that Browns fans, you got to show up. Um, Last week was kind of ridiculous. Um, Tickets were running at $5 a pop.
Yeah.
This is December football in Cleveland. The Browns are playing for something. Like I don't understand it. That was basically a playoff game last week, and there was a lot of Jacksonville fans on that screen.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude,
and
tickets are under $30 right now.
if
It's crazy. I mean, I'm
if
for it just
you're
because I want to go to the game for cheap. But yeah, it's massive. Dude, we have a potential to go 9-5. 9-5 with 14 people out for the season. That is a crazy statement. So I'm sorry. Continue what you were saying. I got excited.
I you pretty much nailed it. Yes, so buy a ticket and get your butt in a seat. There's going to be a lot of Chicago fans, and they're just as hyped that they have somewhat of a slight window left in December. So this is going to be a big TV market kind of game. Cleveland, Chicago, both cities love football. Both
Midwest cities.
both teams are holding on for dear life.
Yeah,
Uh,
because really another loss is pretty detrimental for this Chicago team.
yes, the it's just you could say the same thing about the Browns. They lose
Exactly.
the game, they're taking a big step backwards because they head to Houston the following week.
Mm-hmm.
And with a game like uh, Pittsburgh and Indy, those could have implications on your season.
Absolutely.
These next couple weeks are going to be huge. So you want to get these wins out of the way. Get one this week. That way you can afford a loss on the road, or you know a against a bigger and better team, because then you go and face the Jets at home, and then you go to Cincinnati, who's playing very well, and the season can very much just come down to that last game,
Yes, absolutely it can.
and
And so
that's
that's what you want to be in a position where you're not crunching numbers. And you do it too often, and we don't want to be in that scenario. So a win this week, it would be massive. Like I said, and going up, 2 games on your division rivals would be huge. So, that being said, go Browns. I'm super excited for this weekend. You know, the classic. I'm gonna just probably have a few beers and hope for the best. Strategy on my end will be in full effect. So, go Browns. Subscribe, like, and we'll see you next week, guys. Thanks.
so